What is going on, everyone? It's another Tuesday. Welcome to the castle. Card stock afterlock. It's my main man. It's me and Tambo, the dynamic duo, yet again on another Tuesday. Main man from Canada, Tambo. How's it going?
It's going good, man. Always going up on a Tuesday with you. Love it. Going through some stuff here. We got some SCI. We're going to get to some baseball this week. So chatting about some stuff. There's a lot going on right now, man. I saw again today, Beckett paused or is going to be pausing their submissions now like PSA did. So in the world of graded cards, there's some stuff going on. And then, yeah, with baseball right now, I know you're going to have some numbers up here, but there's a lot of cards. I think just in general, we talked about this last time, the market being down a little bit, but yeah, excited to dive into it and use our tool, Sports Card Investor.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's a perfect segue into sportscardinvestor.com. We've been running this promo since we started our sports card arm at RotoGrinders, and we're just going to keep this train rolling. We want everyone to get access to sportscardinvestor.com, especially the magnificent market movers tool. That's where you get a lot of this beautiful data. We'll be showing that off today in every cardboard show. Promo code GRINDERS is going to get you 20% off that first payment for the month or for the year. Clarification, every time we make this promo, if you use the 20% for the month, no, you do not get to use it for the year. So you have to make a decision up front. Is it for the month? Is it for the year? I'm going to tell you right now, the best bang for your buck is for the year. You're going to love it. You guys see what we're doing. If you're a friend of the show, give it a good old like button going over to sportscardinvestor.com. Promo code GRINDERS, 20% off that first payment. And Tambo, we are now into the meat and potatoes of this show, which is our content section. And the first thing I want to talk about is something that I know you're high on. And I'm just going to kick it over to you. In terms of MLB, right? How are you evaluating your long-term holds? And those are going to be guys that I consider maybe people that are blue chip already, or people that you think are going to evolve into blue chip players. How are you evaluating that? And then who are some of the guys that you want to look at in terms of your blue chips that you hold right now? We'll pull them up and just kind of look and see the trends, but how are you evaluating your long-term holds?
Most of them, like you said, just based on the name and the title, but at the same time, just the way I am with these blue chips, I am just not even really looking at the market right now. I don't care about it. I'm not trying to sell. I don't think my guys are, the same as I've always talked about in the past on this show. So Soto, Acuna, guys like that, I'm just in on long-term that I'm going to just hang on to because they're just they're not even at the peak. They're just getting started. They're hitting bombs. They're stealing bases. They're doing anything and everything you can imagine, having a lot of fun out there doing it. So, these little, we'll look at it when we bring it up, but these little hype spikes that we see, I'll call them, like where, they have a good game or one good game and you see like people go and buy them right quick. Like there's nothing that I'm looking to sell them for right now in that area. And even if they go down a little bit, or even if they are down some, maybe I'll look to pick some more up. That's where it comes down with those guys, because we'll do what we said. I guess it's a strategy based thing, but you and I are always looking for, okay, if a guy we like that we want for really long-term is down, let's wait for him to be down and go find some of his much better cards. Maybe it's a refractor, maybe it's an auto refractor, whatever it might be, where we're going to dig in and dive in and get something a little bit better out of them. But for me, guys like that, I'm just, waiting on. Some of the other ones I'm trying to debate between. I'm not always the best for this stuff. I know you can guide me a little bit further in this area, but like a guy like Bryce Harper, I've got some hits and some nibbles on these cards for like 4x what I paid for them because he was down when we bought him. But I still you think about, should I be selling this just yet? Because I still think there's opportunity there, more upside, more meat on the bone. And it's just not something I need right now to get rid of. So sometimes I'll just test the market that way. And then you could sort of get a gauge on what it's doing. I don't know if you have some Bryce Harper cards there you can look up, but Acuna is a good one. Soto, who you mentioned, these are sort of the popular guys. And then I talked to you pre-show before we hopped on to record with a guy like Austin Meadows. I feel like selling that because can he keep doing this? But man, this guy just keeps hitting a home run, even again tonight while we were live here, just getting started. So it's another one of those things with a guy like him where I'm just not sure exactly yet to pull the trigger on selling him. I think mute.
Yeah, I am. I was clicking the button and clicking one at the same time. But look, let's go ahead and bring this thing in. Let's go ahead and start screen sharing right now, because I think you brought up something. You talked about the blue chip guys that you were looking at, and one is Ronald Acuna. Yes, I am an Atlanta Braves fan. Yes, we're pulling him up for that very reason. But I do think that Ronald Acuna is going to continue to rise in price, and clearly if there ever was a face of the franchise, he's got to be the face of the franchise for the Atlanta Braves, alongside Freddie Freeman. But clearly, Acuna's got he's the sexy card to have right now, right? You know, we think about Freddie Freeman. I almost think about Freddie Freeman almost like a Tim Duncan type, right? He's slow and steady, nothing flashy, but man, can he hit? He's going to play first base. He's just going to quietly have good seasons and be close to winning MVP every year. Ronald Acuna, to me, is like the Kobe Bryant of this team. He's the splash play. He's the young guy with all the swag. And so when you look at these prices, and I've got Bowman pulled up alongside the Topps, the Bowman Chrome versus the Topps Chrome. One of the things that I see here initially, Tambo, and this is something that's speaking to me, man, I love the Topps, but it feels like I need to be buying this Bowman. The pop count on this thing, 783, that's pretty much a 10x pop count in terms of the Topps Chrome version. Man, this feels like a sexy play here to get on this Bowman Chrome. And I know Bowman has a prospects version as well, so I understand that, Topps is going to come out with their rookie product. But this Bowman Chrome, this looks like a fantastic buy, even at the current price point, especially since it's still trailing the Topps Chrome. So I know you see me scrolling down here, and it looks like, the starting average on this 256 for the Topps Chrome, 178 for the Bowman. The Bowman high sale was at 325. Acuna's high sale at Topps was 562. Now, clearly that was astronomical. I don't know what happened there. But we look at the last two sale prices, 215 and 247 respectively. Clearly there's a difference in the pop count, which is going to, you're going to see less tick marks. But I'm going to put it back over to you, Tambo. When you see this data, what kind of speaks to you in terms of Acuna right now?
Well, I think everything you said is fair. One thing I want to see if you can pull it up, though, I want to see if they've got the first Chrome on here, because that should be elevated. I'm a holder here, and I know that it goes a little bit higher. So let's see if they've got that for the ability to look it up, because I want to see.
Yeah, should be Bowman. I'm going to assume it. Which one? Let's go.
I don't know why.
Because I know what you're talking about. I'm gonna use this Mega Box Chrome. And let's see if it pulls it. Yeah, let's see if it pulls it.
And if it doesn't, it's okay. I would just say that's one of the things that stands out to me, is that, that's been the superior card that everyone's been after. And then you can go up from there, but and it may not pull the data for it right now, but that's one of the things. And like you said, that's not his prospects, but you still can see the difference. And I'm with you though. A couple of things you said there, like obviously the Bowman Chrome is still solid. The fact that the pop count is 10% of the Topps Chrome alone, to me, is worth it. We've had this conversation in NBA the past couple of weeks, in NFL, bringing these things up and just looking at them. And that's where we're trying to, go after as the market continues to get more and more savvy, and we continue to see things come out around, different categories of being able to buy fractionally and things like that. It's always announced, this is a one of one that you're buying it. And that obviously has a play on what people are doing as far as value is concerned. And that's the big difference here. So for me, it's like you said, I really don't care between these two at the same price. I'm going to buy the one there's 1/10 of, because it's still going to be popular. It's still going to be well known, but in the long term, I believe it will become more coveted. In the beginning, use Luka Doncic rookie cards. I know it's a baseball show and we always go back and forth on it, but that's what happened with the Prisms. Zion Prisms right now are extremely down, and it's just because people are realizing it's going to be the same as the Luka, and it's not because either of them are bad. Luka's been still doing his thing. He's young. Zion's the man. I know that it's not just because they're out of the playoffs and things are done or whatever people were expecting to see. It's more that people are realizing more and more about these pop counts, in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm with you 100%. I'm going to go ahead and add our boy Fernando Tatis in there. Let's start doing some comparing, because if we pull his Topps Chrome, and I'm going to go Topps Chrome right now because I think we'll get about the same on both.
It's a good comparison to go to the Bowman Chrome here too and just see compared to Acuna, because one thing you said that stood out to me there was pretty simple, is that Freeman is the example of like a Tim Duncan style, going back to basketball for a second, versus these guys are exciting, right? When Tatis hits a home run and then walks it off or sort of looks at it and does his thing, goes around, does all his cheering. I know it's not for everybody and people have a problem with it, but I don't. And I personally love that side of it. That's what makes the game exciting. So I love seeing guys like Acuna and him just go out there and have fun with it, versus you're not always seeing that with some of these other guys that just go out and do their job, right? These guys are trying to make it more fun, trying to keep the fans involved. Got to remember, it's 162 game seasons and whatnot. They can get pretty boring after a while. So the more you have guys making it exciting and fun out there, the better it is. And then that does translate to superstardom, for which then translates to card prices and values, et cetera, et cetera. So I do like to see that. I don't see, that's odd that the Topps Chrome isn't populated.
That should be populated for sure. Don't worry about it. We're going to get it pulled up. I am, 2019 Topps Chrome Baseball. We got that. I'm going to pull the update too. And let's see if that pops in there, because he wasn't a rookie in 2020. So let's see what we have here. We should get at least one of them this time. And sorry, guys, I know we're usually a lot more interactive on the talking side, but I do want to compare these guys. I think this is a big time comparison. Here we go. That's it. We got it. This is good. So, I mean, as we take a look at it, look at these pop counts. Tambo, I mean, we're only separated by 3 cards here, and that's with PSA having a lot of cards backed up. So we're pretty much neck and neck on pop count with both of these players. I mean, I think this is fantastic, right? Like, this is what we want to see. 2 of our big stars pretty much have comparable pop counts. And then if we're looking at the cards, that's what we're getting in price right now. We've got Tatis, selling a lot more than Ronald Acuna. And I think there's a reason for that. Now, one of the things I do feel like the Padres have a little bit more star appeal across their whole team. And we look at all the moves they made over the summer. I feel like people think the Padres can win a championship this year. I feel like they think it's more possible than the Braves. Braves have had a lot of injuries, kind of rounded in the form here as Acuna gets back, and a lot of other guys have had injuries. The bottom of our lineup is still really young with guys like, even Pash is still out, I think, and he's a young guy that we were counting on. So we've got Contreras playing now, catcher. All these factors are going into it. Bottom line, I think from a popularity standpoint, they probably feel about equal, but in the card space, it definitely looks like people want a little bit more Tatis right now, considering these pop counts are almost identical.
Yeah, a couple things that stand out to me. So one, Vegas odds, it's like 7-1 for the Padres, like 20-1 for the Braves. Absolutely. So that's definitely part of it. But and this count isn't that far off. All these numbers are quite similar. What actually stood out to me, Will, was the graph. And if you go back up to it for a second, absolutely. I can give you my thoughts on it. Just you can see that Tatis started as the guy, and that would stem from at the top when you could see the 450 down to like the 275, 250 range there between the two, to what your exact point. If you go back to that timeline few months back when everything was getting started up, everyone would go with the guy that's got the prospect to take them all the way, that they're going to get to the World Series. They're going to have a chance to win it. All this. They picked up some pitching. They had some great offseason transactions that made people get after it. Plus people just like Fernando Tatis. There was the video game cover, everything that went with it. So that made sense. Now you scroll to where we are now and where those lines happen. Acuna started off the season pretty hot, doing his thing. And then the injury happened for Fernando Tatis. And then now you see them sort of cross paths and now sort of level out to where I would still say the value is there for Tatis because one, I still like his long-term better. He is the Kobe style. They're both that style, but I'm saying, and I know you're an ATL guy, so you can definitely debate and counter me here. But I think again, it matters more what we talk about all the time. What is his upside in the card world? Is he going to go to who's more likely to go to the World Series? It's still the Padres. Whose team is better for that same reason? It ties together. It's correlated. The Padres. What's the long-term upside? The ages are similar to that, but like you said, one's getting video game covers. The other maybe could have. It's all little things that add up and what the fans like to see. But the bottom line is, I think the market, the team, the quality, the opportunity, and then the odds say that it's right now Fernando Tatis. So for the same price, and not only that, where were the prices? We look back, they were separated from 250 to 275 up to 470, 480. Like, so that has upside still to get back there. There's more people buying it, the liquidity. I'm just naming everything now, but they do all line up. So that's why I would be on team Fernando here versus Ronald, but I don't know what team you're on. I think it's going to be your boy.
Man, I'm on team both, period.
Yeah, like, you can buy both.
I mean, listen, I love Ronald Acuna, and I do think he still has plenty of upside. I've always said I felt like the Braves were a little bit ahead of schedule for the past couple seasons. Like they weren't supposed to be this good right now. I can tell you, just looking back at what happened before Albies, before Acuna, before you get Freddie Freeman, all these little transactions that they made. Donaldson was there for a year or two. All these little things that happened. I don't feel like we were supposed to be this good right now. And the reason we've been so good is because our offense has carried the team. We still need more pitching, and that's going to be our Achilles heel. And I know this sounds crazy, but I think in San Diego, they probably got a little bit better pitching. And yeah, Blake Snell is not looking great right now. And, some of their other pitchers aren't looking great, but Yu Darvish is still a big name and he's been pitching fine. Clearly, I know they thought that Chris Paddock was going to be a little bit better this season, and he just seems to have kind of regressed. Maybe he picks it up and gets a little bit better as the season goes on. But bottom line is they've got some horses to carry them to the big show. Whereas in Atlanta, we just don't have it right now. Our ace is, pretty much Charlie Morton, and nothing against Charlie Morton. I like Charlie, but we've got to have more than Charlie Morton when we're trying to go on a deep playoff run, because our offense can't carry us every game. And I think we saw that when we played the Dodgers. So for that reason, I still like them both. I do think if Acuna stays hot, if he gets hot in the middle of the season, I think he's got a chance to pull in an MVP if he stays on this trajectory. And same thing for Tatis. So that's kind of where I am with both of those guys. I'm going to kind of try to move to the next section here, Tambo, because we were talking about long-term holds here recently. Blue chips, and not that blue chips, and I do want to clear this up. Sometimes blue chips are undervalued as well, right? Like Tatis is still a little bit cheaper than where he started. If they happen to go deep into the playoffs, get closer to the World Series, this $300 that we pay now could be $600 by the time he gets there. So there are reasons to pick up more blue chips as well when they're down. The next segment here is which players do you think, and I'm going to ask you this directly, do you think, because I'm going to pull up the tool, have huge price appreciation opportunity, whether blue chip or some kind of really good players that maybe nobody's thinking about? You kind of think about it. I'm going to pull up, some of these percentages here on some of these other cards, but that's where we are now. Which players do you think have some price appreciation opportunity as we kind of get further and further into the season?
Surprisingly enough, I think it might be, and when you go pull it up and look, is actually some of the oldies but goodies that are well gone and retired and out of here, because what it is right now, Will, is I think just so much of the collectibles market is down and people are now just selling things for whatever they can get. And I'm sure we'll see that with some of the names when you pull up the chart of guys that we would, think as, all timers that are down, that you can then go and pick those up right now and just hang on to them. So again, it kind of becomes like a blue chip because it's a big name that you would always be okay with. But hey, even again, I always revert back to basketball because it's such an easy market to talk about, but the Kobe Bryants did the same thing. They just had the Hall of Fame. He just had the Hall of Fame induction, everything there with the great speeches with his wife and all that. MJ being there was amazing. But, the prices sort of linked up right before that and then came down some. And I know he's got a documentary and all that, but I'm saying the same thing can be said here. The prices are just down a little bit across the board. So I think you had it up there earlier, a guy like Bo Jackson. And I know our guy that we've had on the show before, Michael J. Cards, he was into some Bo Jackson cards. And it's still a good pickup, whether it's you bought it then or now, you're in the same position. But at the same time, the appreciation that can happen on something like that, to me, he's already done his thing. He's already a household, well-known name that lots of guys and girls in the hobby love, whatever you want to say, as far as to be interested in that. Just right now, everything's down. So you got to try and look for these things while you can, because it doesn't mean they're always going to be down. They definitely can bounce back. And as things pick up further and further, that's an opportunity. So yeah, and there he is, down 41%.
Yeah, and look, Bo Jackson being down 41%, in my opinion, Tambo, is a huge deal for the market. Like, this is, one of the more popular older players, like him and Ken Griffey. People are always buying those guys. So when you're looking and you're seeing he's down 41.49%, that's almost 50%. Well, then you go and look at where he's just recently sold. It's 265. The average sale was 171 if you look over here, and that's based on all of these particular sales out of 7 sales, and this is just 7 days. We can take this thing out 14, 30 days, so forth and so on. We're just looking in the last week.
But
Bo Jackson being down that much, I mean, I think that's an incredible buy.
What about if you can you sort by starting average? Like I think you can sort it by the starting average to see what the highest price was. And then that's a good way of looking at it because like you see something, let's flip it one more time the other way. Exactly. Now find someone that's down, right? Someone that's there that, Acuna's down slightly, but let's find someone like Bo Jackson that's down big. And then I always like to see like, could they get it back? Right.
Yeah.
So Jason Dominguez is a little bit of an example here. Obviously one of the hottest prospects in the market. Ohtani is right there too. We can lump both these guys together and have the same conversation.
Absolutely.
These are two.
Wander Franco, same thing. One of those prospects.
Yes. Yeah. All these guys. And if they were at that price, what's stopping them from getting back to that price or what's causing them to drop like this? That's what you have to think about. And obviously Dominguez, to me, it's just a matter of time. It's that people are just getting fed up holding on to it. Like I've got Dominguez cards that I'm just holding on to that I got way back when I first started collecting again, like heavily back at the start of the COVID shutdown and everything that I got for cheap, that now I can just hang on to them because while they're down from 500, I got them for 100 or 150 or something. Like it's not like I have to worry about this thing, but I think a lot of people just get sick and tired of holding something like that. And now you have to make the decision of like anything, like when we sometimes talk about Top Shot on here, is it going to drop further? And then you can make, okay, then I have no problem with you making your decision. It's definitely hard to plan out and say where the bottom is, if you will. But I'm just saying, looking at certain guys, is there a price like Ohtani to me at 309 dropping down $55? It's not really enough to worry about if you own them. I'm just using that particular card. There was some others there, but it's, Soto is another one. Can these bounce back? They absolutely can. There's so much time. Bo Jackson, who we talked about, now we see him pop up here again. A different card.
That's his score, but still.
Yeah, it's a different card. It's just to show the I'm looking more for the names. Ohtani, all of his cards you can see there are slightly down. But if you believe in Ohtani, then that's where you have to get after it because a lot of it has to do like, why would you be writing off Ohtani? The guy pitches, hits home runs. Did you see some of the balls he's hit this season and the location of where he's hitting them from? Like this is going to be an absolute talent, a show, everything to watch that you can expect and want to see in baseball. And that's the guys. Now, then you can look at it the other way and go, okay, I can see why I saw earlier. It was like Andrew Vaughn is down. Yes, he's a young prospect. He's still up and coming on a great team in the White Sox. But again, you got to remember who he's playing with. The Moncadas, the Abreus, all these other guys that it's hard to be a show out on that squad versus some of these other ones.
Yeah, and Luis Robert and Eloy Jimenez aren't even back yet. They're out.
That's right.
Imagine when they get back, he's nowhere to be found. He's not in the lineup. When those well, I don't want to say he's not in the lineup. I don't want to
he stays a prospect though, like you said, of maybe a potential, but not is he the real prospect? Like look at Luis Robert, his cards were way up and they're down right now due to injury and some of the collectibles market being down. Is he really done? Like he's not going to show up when he comes back and plays? Like he's going to be fine. People are just getting so quick to move things that's where I like using it from this starting average. And we're always trying to show off this tool. Everyone thinks we just pump it because we're sponsored. That's part of the deal, but it is a fantastic tool, as Will always tells you. And these are some of the ways that you can use it to go out and say, okay, now like I said, it's hard to time the bottom and decide, but there will be negatives that you can look at and say, I know why this is down and it probably should be down. And then there's other ones you'll look at and say like, I don't know if this is the bottom, but that seems like a pretty good buy because this is a guy we believe in way longer term than this. And we haven't even got to that yet. So it's like, that's an example of how you can use it to try and find good buys.
Yeah, for sure. And as you can see, I mean, I'm just kind of going through, look at this, another Robert, not down a ton, but down 10%. Andrew Vaughn down $53. Like, and clearly he was poppy. We got some Acuna. If you're into some complete set with that point up, his is down $23 right now. I think this might be a good spot to get in on this Topps complete set at $97.91. Because let me tell you something, he keeps stealing bases, he keeps hitting home runs. This card will be at 150 it's June right now. Let's give it August. It'll probably be around 150. So these are, these are some of the things I'm looking at. Average sale was already 130 anyway. Right. So these are some of the things I'm looking at. I'm going to do one more thing, Tambo. I want to zoom out, right? Because these are just the last 7 days. Let's zoom out for the last month and let's just see. Now, Flaherty's down for the week, but look at the month. He's up 95. I mean, for the month, 95%. Let's see where we're at in terms of guys that are really down for the month. Pete Alonso, let me tell you something. I understand. I'm a big fan of what I think Pete Alonso is going to be for the Mets. clearly when he gets back, he will continue to hit home runs. Now, later, it doesn't matter. For him to be down 73%, Tambo, this is a buy right now. And I know it's a top. I know it's a top heritage.
Go down a couple. Look at the Bowman draft. It's the draft, but it's still the first chrome. Like these are, and it's a little bit more money.
I mean, these are all crazy. Down. So, this is why this tool is so important. And I'm going to tell you right now, Ozzie Albies, when I pulled it up, he was the first one on the 7-day chart where he was down about 56%. When I get off this show, I'm going to buy Albies right now. Like, I'm just going to buy, right? I think that's too cheap. Even though, the average start was about $50, average sale $44. I can pick up a Topps Chrome rookie on Albies for $21.72. I just think that's good value. I don't consider him complete blue chip like Acuna, but that's still too cheap for what he's capable of long-term during the season and throughout what's going to happen with that team in Atlanta. I think that's a big buy. Look at this, Giancarlo Stanton, another team that can clearly go all the way if everything comes together. They've had a lot of injuries. Look at this, Topps Update base rookie down 56%. I mean, big drop off here, Tambo. This is why this tool is so big. Rhys Hoskins, another guy. Kyle Lewis, he's down. Corey Seager's down. One of the best players on the Dodgers. And clearly what I like to do as well, Tambo, is I like to go back and say, okay, is it down to where it should be? Or because clearly, as we talk about going back to basketball, we feel like Luka may have been overvalued early, and now we're kind of in this normal state where it's like, okay, this is what he should have been anyway, but he was hyped up because of his potential. And now his potential's got to catch up with the price to carry it all the way. And so I will go back and look at some of these guys. But, look at this. Robert, 2018 Bowman Chrome PSA, down $85. That's a good buy because clearly he comes back and plays. He's right back there. So, what are kind of your thoughts? Pete Alonso and Ozzie Albies are definitely two guys I'm going out to probably buy, and maybe even Stanton. I want to look at this Stanton card. That just feels like a really big dip for a guy that's got massive home run potential in one of the biggest sports markets in the country.
Yeah, a few thoughts because we're getting out of here soon, but like the thing that you mentioned, and I wanted just to chime it in real quick. Andahar, I got a few bites on some Andahars. He hit a home run the other night, so maybe he's coming around. But I'm just saying that's my point on the Albies. I'm right there with you. When it's $20, there's not much risk involved. Like I probably buy 3 of them, hope for them to pop off. Maybe you sell one of them for the price of 3. Who knows? Like you can get those situations. It happens, but you're not going to be owed a bunch of money. It costs more to grade that card. It costs more to buy that card raw and send it in and get it graded and do all that than just to go buy it right now. This is just people giving up on a guy. And again, it's tough when he's on the team with Acuna and with everything else that they've got there. But the Stanton one stands out to me. I'll leave my final thoughts on that. I think Alonso's a great buy. I'm with you there. But the Stanton thing stands out to me because I believe if you look up Judge, he's up. And it's all about what have you done for me lately? But what we always say with every sport we talk about on here is quite simple. New York is a massive market, which is a massive market for cards, which means a lot of people are looking to buy these things. And it's literally just they're jumping from Stanton to Judge because Judge has been crushing it lately, and rightfully so. I get that, why his cards are up. But Stanton still has value. He's still going to hit home runs for this team. All those people that just jump ship to Judge will jump back onto Stanton. So any Stantons like that right now to me would be a buy, absolutely, because you aren't going to be out that much money. You're buying them for as much as it sometimes costs to get graded, if you could even get them graded. And the Judge money is always coming in right now with what he's been doing lately. All that money can flip over to Stanton in a market like New York where there's a lot of liquidity, right? Those guys can come through and buy.
Yeah, and I'm looking at it. I mean, just in terms of this particular price range, 90 days, Judge is down 9%. But if we roll the past 30 days, he's up 73%. See, so right. a lot of times it's based on your view, which basically means he had a down low somewhere in this 3-month period, and now look at what's happening. I mean, he's starting to ride the wave back up, and look, the name of the game is home runs, Tambo, in baseball. As guys hit home runs, the prices will begin to run up. There's no secret here. Same thing with Rhys Hoskins, which I think, if I were to pull him up, I know it might have looked like he was down a little bit in the past 7 days, but I'm telling you, I had some Rhys Hoskins, Tambo, and the minute he started popping off with home runs, guess what I had to do? Run and bubble wrap some cards and get them out of here. It's just how it happens. So
That's one last thing just to add in on that is what, we used this with Luka before in the past, but you just used it right here with Judge. In the last 3 months, your Judge cards are down 9% or 7% or whatever it was, but you're up over the last X amount of time, 73%. So you're not actually down if you got him at the start. And that was what happened with Luka, where we looked at and everyone said, oh, it doesn't sell for $1,200 or $1,800 anymore. No, but you got them for $200-$300 and they still sell for $800 or $1,000. You're still way up. It's like, yeah, you're mad you didn't move it at the highest price, but if you still want to move it, you can still make a lot of money. And that's where you're looking for these opportunities. And when guys like Albies are $20 or Hoskins is down to 50 or whatever these guys are at, it's like you said, they have power. They can hit home runs. They're on good teams or exciting teams to watch that will be there in the playoffs or making their way through to try to get to the big dance. And that's really what it comes down to. And that's where, like I said, you can literally buy these cards in multiples for cheaper than it costs to buy the card, send it in, ship it back and forth, and get it graded in some cases, if you even could get it graded. Like I said at the top of the show, PSA has been down for most services, and Beckett just shut some stuff down today too. So that just goes to show, man, this is the time to buy a lot of these items for the ones that you're interested in.
Absolutely. And Tambo, we're going to close it out right there with the big Aaron Judge dong out of the park. Thanks for joining us in the castle this week, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget, we've been showing off market movers all show. Don't forget to get over to sportscardinvestor.com. 20% off your first payment for the month or for the year. Promo code Grinders. Thanks for joining us at the castle. We'll see you next week.